G'day team, welcome to Runners Only with Dom Harvey. That's me. Today on the podcast, Rachel Grunwell. She's an author. She used to be a journalist, won some awards for her work with the Sunday Star Times, and then she sort of fell into marathon running and ran 25 marathons over a quick succession. She will tell you all about how that happened, and I feel like you'll get the most out of this podcast if you are a non-runner or you're just sort of starting out. There's lots of helpful tips for beginners and stuff like that, lots of nutrition tips, and a good dose of mental health chat as well. So thank you very much for downloading. Great to see you here. Remember, if you like the podcast, please suggest it to someone else that you think may like it. I find the word of mouth advertising is the most effective sort. Yeah, rather than me punishing my friends on Instagram. Sorry about that. Honestly, I reckon I've lost followers over the last couple of weeks because every story I do is like just resharing something. All right, here she is, Rachel Grunwell on Runners Only.
Hey, Runners Only, yeah, let's get it started. Hey, this is Runners Only with Dom Harvey. Fast paced, slow and steady, anywhere you coming. Just wanna connect for everyone who loves running. This is Runners Only, yeah, let's get it started. Hey, this is Runners Only with Dom Harvey. Fast paced, slow and steady, anywhere you coming. Just wanna connect for everyone who loves running. Hey, Runners Only with Dom Harvey.
And Rachel G. Grunwell. Is that, the name's Grunwell, but I thought about it. There is run in your name.
I know, I'll spend a lifetime trying to live up to that name, Dom.
Hey, thank you very much for joining me on the podcast. You actually asked to come on the podcast. You messaged me and asked to come on, and I thought, shit, that's awesome. She's got balls.
Yeah, well, you know what? There's so many elite runners out there, and the relatability is not, well, we all aspire to be like them, but I'm just an ordinary runner, and I love to share that message that if I can, anyone can.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I really like the confidence, and you're not the only person that's done it. I've had a few other people reach out, which is great.
Eh?
Oh, no, it makes my job easier, but I just wish I don't know if it's confidence the word, I don't know, but I'd be like, I'd start to write the message and I'll go, oh, no, I'm not going to send that. They'll think I'm, whatever. But I was pleasantly pleased to hear from you, and it's great to have you on.
Cheers.
So this is Rachel Grunwell. She was a journalist, and then you sort of fell into running really by chance.
Yeah, completely by accident.
Yeah, give us the backstory. So what were you doing as a journalist? By the way, journalists are the absolute worst, aren't they? Awful humans.
Watch out, I still am one. Yeah, so I was a sugar-addicted, caffeine-fueled, stress addict journalist, and I was on maternity leave, and an editor reached out and said, hey, Rach, do you want to write a weekly column about wellness, trying and surviving all these crazy mad ideas?
So was the shtick sort of that you're basically couch potato to trying these weird things?
Yeah, they only got me to do it because I could write, and they wanted a writer so they could articulate what it's like for readers and whether they might be into it. So I had zero health experience. I wasn't fit. I was the opposite. So I was really excited because I thought, yay, I can learn some stuff here. I was completely confused about how to get fit, how to eat well, how to sleep better.
Yeah. So you put a book out a few years ago, which is available now. It's called Balance, Food, Health and Happiness. By the way, where can you buy it?
You can get it on Book Depository, or I sell them on my website, inspiredhealth.co.nz. Yeah, reach out.
The thing that gets me about books like this, and it's a huge market, and you go into Paper Plus or Whitcoulls or whatever, and there's a massive section of books like this, but you flick through it, and it seems common sense. You know what I mean? Like drink more water, and sleep more, and eat better vegetables. Why is there such a demand for this sort of stuff? Well, people can't be reading it and going, oh yeah, I got to do that 5+ a day.
It's only because you're in that zone, Dom. You know how to get fitter. People who are starting from scratch are really confused. So it's just all these little tips of like, why are you doing this? Why is it smart to do that? And so I don't know about you, but I used to be a snackaholic. I used to be hitting the sugar and carbs at 3 o'clock. I'd be like, my energy was low and I was really, really hungry. But if I eat enough protein, I'm full for a long time, and I'm not snacking, which means I'm losing weight, and yeah. Great.
By the way, that's the time of day we are recording this. It's literally 3 p.m.
No treats out for me, Dom. Thank God I had some protein.
In this book, there's a chapter about goal setting. I agree. Like, goal setting is a great thing and it's a necessary thing. But often in life, things just like sort of fall across your path that can change the trajectory of your life. Like is what's happened with you. Like your editor gave you an assignment, you did this weekly column, and now this is your entire life.
Yeah, well, you can fall in love with this industry. It's amazing if you learn some things on how to be healthier and happier. Change your fitness. Increase your energy levels. It can change your life.
What about when you I suppose I'm talking about myself here. What about when you know the common sense thing and you know the right thing to do, but you still do the wrong thing anyway? Like I'm sometimes troubled by my relationship with alcohol, in particular red wine. I love the stuff. I know I drink too much of the stuff. I know it's bad for me. Then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll feel a little bit shit. And then I'll repeat the same thing again that night.
Hey.
By the way, what are you like with alcohol now? You've written this book, Balance, Food, Health and Happiness. Is there a lot of pressure on you to be like a saint when it comes to it?
No, so I get a lot of wellness clients because I believe in balance. I eat burgers, I drink red wine, I eat chocolate, like I do all those things. The thing is, no one should living a perfectionist would be not only boring, but like you don't have to. You've got to have those things that you love in your life. And look, that is one of the massive things that I learned on my wellness journey. I remember when I first went to a nutritionist 10 years ago, and I said, hey, I've got to admit, like, I'm sorry, but I eat chocolate. I eat it every day. I love it. I'm a chocoholic.
No one should have to have that as a confession or something they feel guilty about, really.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, so what? Like, enjoy it. Like, you should be able to eat chocolate, and I still eat chocolate every day. I've switched now to a higher cacao content.
What does that mean?
It's got good fats in it.
Right.
So it's full of antioxidants. It's full of good fats. It's actually good to eat. Like
come on. No, you've talked yourself into it. It tastes like shit. Give me the Cadbury stuff with the palm oil.
Well, the thing is, you can have that, but just have it in balance a little bit. A little bit. Like everything. Like, enjoy the red wine. Enjoy the chocolate. Enjoy those things in balance. Just don't have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though. Like I'm being serious here because I know the right thing to do, but I still make the wrong decisions. Quite often.
Yeah, so it's about psychology. So I have dealt with I've helped some amazing male clients. They are the ones that particularly come to me with alcohol management. And so I'll look at how they drink and give them tips and tricks on how to moderate that.
What sort of tips and tricks?
So I have one really cool client. He's pretty famous actually, and he's in my book, so I could probably name him, but I won't. He's really cool. He came to me and he said, "Oh, look, Rach, I want to get fitter. I want to understand nutrition better. I'd really like to uplift my happiness because I'm a bit, down in the dumps. But the main thing is, like, I actually want help to moderate what I'm drinking." So I said, well, look, talk me through what you're having. He says he walks in the door and his partner, like, hands him a brandy and it whoosh goes down. And so that's the taster, right? And then he's like, then I'm onto the whiskey. And I'm like, yeah, cool.
What night are we talking? Like
a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, every night. And then I go, okay, cool. And what next? And he goes, yeah. And then we sit down and, we have, a red wine, a really nice, beautiful red wine. And then we're on to the cocktails. And so how I got him to...
It's like he's living at dinner hour.
I know he's on holiday. So what I did with him was I said, well, okay, is there any of those drinks that you don't enjoy as much? And he said, he thought about it and he said, yeah, I guess the brandy. Like my partner, she really likes the brandy. I can't remember if it's the brandy or the whiskey. And she just hands it to me when I walk in the door and I just chuck it back. I don't really like it. I don't really enjoy it. But, she's gone to all this trouble. And I said, well, okay, how do you feel about just dropping the brandy and maybe in between these drinks, maybe have a water so you're starting to feel fuller. So think about what you enjoy the most. And he was like, actually, Rach, I like the whiskey. I really like the whiskey. Love it. It makes me happy. Tastes amazing. And then I really like the red wine. And I said, well, let's drop those other drinks and focus on sitting down, pausing, like really enjoying the moment, like the taste of it, the smell of it, how the cup feels in your hand.
Some mindfulness, really.
Yeah, mindfully drinking.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Who would have thought those two would go hand in hand?
Totally. I'll use any tactic I can, mate. But yeah, he moderated it. I had another awesome, very highly successful male client. He was drinking 8 beers a night.
Right.
And when he came to see me, how I helped him was, he was sitting down. He was actually thirsty when he got home from work. And so he was having 8 beers when he was actually thirsty, just glugging them back. We worked on, I gave him different ideas on how to approach it. So I said, look, you could have a couple of nights off if you felt you could do that. We could hit it that way to just reduce the amount. Or how about you just get home, you have some water, you feel, you've quenched your thirst, and then mindfully enjoy a few beers. And you know what? A few weeks into him working with me, he was really tearful and really emotional. And he said, Rach, I was actually really scared. I was an alcoholic when I came to you, and I just didn't know what to do. But you just gave me these tasks to hit. And you know what? He actually chose the hardest approach. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because he goes, I'm going to go cold turkey for 3 nights a week. I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I'm quite a motivated guy when I get going.
Yeah.
And he was incredibly successful. Got him down to 3 nights a week, just mindfully enjoying some beers. He lost a lot of weight. Even more exciting for him, he got his fitness back. Yeah, so he got a lot of his mojo back.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll try that. Because I can easily knock off a bottle a night of red wine, and the thing is, I've never had any health issues yet. But the recent death of Shane Warne, who's like a few years older than me, that makes you worry about what you're doing to your body. And I've never missed a day of work. I don't turn into like a belligerent person or anything like that. So I don't know. It's like you do wonder if you're an alcoholic, because it's like I'll plan to have like alcohol-free days and then you let yourself down. And I don't know. It's a strange relationship, and it's something I've been questioning deeply, but yet it's a relationship that I don't think ready to leave yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's different stages on when you want to work on what I call wellness pieces of the puzzle. So basically, there's different stages where people actually jump. Sometimes it's a pain point. They have to. Like they've been given health advice and they have to. So they're really keen to get curious on how to approach things. Look, people have different tolerances. So, I used to run with a lawyer who would, have several bottles of wine and then, outrun me on race day. And he'd jog up next to me and he'd go, oh shit, I'm like, Rach, I'm running your pace. Oh, okay, I need to kick it up again. So
he's probably got a lot of sugar in his system.
I don't know. It was like rocket fuel for him. But so people have different tolerances. Like if I had a bottle of wine, Dom,
you'd be on your
the
ass.
size of me, I'd be, I'd be having a good time.
Yeah. I don't know, yeah, but waking up feeling guilty about it's not a great way to wake up. I've even a couple of times thought maybe I need to go to like an AA session or something, but then I just worry that that'll be a bad thing for me in the respect that I'll go, well, shit, that person's lost their house and their marriage and their kids don't speak to them. I'm not that bad after all. You know what I mean? Like I'm not hiding bottles in the recycling bin. I'm not drinking a coffee cup that's full of...
Are you having any impacts? Like, are you feeling tired or sleepy?
I normally wake up at 3 in the morning feeling shit from the alcohol.
Yeah,
and I'll lie awake for an hour
that?
and then... Yeah.
So it interrupts your REM sleep. So if you want a better quality of sleep, so to have, I know you're probably having the right amount of sleep. For an adult, it's 7.5 hours. For kids, it's much longer. For elite athletes, or even like you who wants to really perform well in their running, you need more sleep. And that's a free tool, right? We spend all this money on supplements and all these fancy things to fuel our performance. But actually, you know what? Strength and conditioning coach for Team New Zealand is in my book, and he's in the sleep chapter. And he's going, that is my superpower tool for my athletes. He used to be strength and conditioning coach for the Blues, and he's like, and it's free.
That's true, yeah. A good night's sleep. It's quite funny, like when I was younger, I used to have I'll sleep when I'm dead sort of thing. Now I love sleep, and I love talking about sleep as well. Can't get enough of it.
Yeah, so if you pull back your drinking, you'll get more REM, so you get that higher quality of sleep, and then that affects your brain function. So you get more creative, you get sort of more capacity of your brain to draw from.
Now tell us about you and your first marathon. So you got into running sort of by accident because your editor got you doing this column where you're doing things. So running is a difficult sport to start.
Yeah,
it sucks for everybody.
yeah,
doesn't it? It's
so
really
hard.
It's really hard. And I think everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have a bad memories or bad experience from running because you get forced to do the school cross country or whatever, and you're forced to run as punishment in PE.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
What about for you? What about for you? So how old were you when you started up running?
Yeah, well, so
as an adult,
I was a music geek in school, so I used to skip the cross country. I used to have a valid excuse. I'm like, I'm off for a lesson. He used to play the saxophone.
Go you, Lisa Simpson.
yeah. And, so I wasn't into fitness at all. So when I started, it was 10 years ago, and like I said, I was a really unfit writer. And I started from scratch, and it was really, really hard. I would run around the block twice a week, 20 minutes, run-walk routine, like walk a power pole, run a power pole.
Where did you get? Is that just what felt comfortable, or where did you get that idea from?
It was all I could manage.
Right.
I was crawling around the block, Dom. I was the colour of a fire engine. I hated it. It was really hard. I was that unfit.
Because that's what I tell. If someone messages me saying I want to start running, what should I do? I tell them just ease into it. Like,
it's a smarter start.
Yeah, walk and run. Like run for 2 minutes, walk for a minute, or if that feels too hard, walk for a minute, run for a minute. Then when the running gets easier, run a little bit longer and walk a little bit less.
Yeah, so I'm a qualified coach these days, and it's
am I giving the right advice then? I'm not
totally.
qualified, but
No, that is golden. That is golden advice. So the worst thing you can do is go too fast, too hard, too soon.
That's what I say, especially to guys that approach me, because I figure out, like, a lot of guys are probably like, well, when I was 19, I could do a 10K in 45. I'm
and
just
going to go out and pull a hamstring.
Yeah. Or wake up with crazy delayed onset muscle soreness the next morning and then not run for a week.
And then that's not fun.
Yeah.
You're too sore. Less is more. So just a walk-run routine. It takes a while for your ligaments and muscles to get used to it and get used to the load. So it was the smartest start, but I had no clue what I was doing at the time. I was just wanting to move, and a magical thing happened. A couple of weeks into it, I realised I could run a little bit more than I could walk, and that felt like absolute success. I was euphoric. I was so happy. I was so proud of myself. I looked a mess, but
cool.
and then it
everyone's ugly when they run, right?
So ugly.
That's good. I love that at the finish line of an event, in particular like marathons and half marathons. Everyone's red in the face, dudes with bleeding nipples. It's an ugly sport. But so rewarding. So how old were you when you did your first marathon?
Maybe 38.
Right.
39.
So this was part of your journalism journey
crisis?
as well. This is part of your journalism sort of experiment thing.
Yeah. Just progressed, got stronger, and ended up running a little bit longer. And I think it took me. I was about 9 months from getting off the couch, starting from scratch to running my first marathon. I was really dedicated.
Wow, that is a really fast turnaround.
It's a really fast turnaround, and I wouldn't actually recommend it. I'd say, because I became really dedicated, committed. I got actually addicted to the feeling of how I felt finding flow in a run. Once I got past that, once you can run 5Ks, like it's really hard. It's really hard work to get to that first 5Ks, but after that, you're running. It's almost like meditative, and it's enjoyable, and you feel amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Can you remember how long you first went? I don't fixate on time here because I think time's quite a personal thing in terms of
I don't mind.
like it does.
I don't mind sharing how shit I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I broke the golden rule. I've done it once and I've learnt from my mistake. Please don't ever do this. Please learn from my mistake. I ran too hard, too fast in the first half. So you're supposed to really pace it in the first half and just cruise it. And I just like took it to the edge and a bit further back and I blew up. I hit the wall and, you know, when you get to that 34-kilometre mark, I was crawling and I was like, why am I here? What am I doing? This hurts. It's so hard. And I had a mate, Al, meet me at that point, thank God, and he kind of picked me up off the tar seal. It was the Auckland Marathon. And we got to the stand, it was flat Coke, and he was like, right.
Oh, yeah, that is like, it's like
rocket fuel.
It's like jet fuel, eh? It's so good.
Yes,
I was talking to Mitch James about this, because he ran his first marathon in Auckland recently, and he goes, and there was flat Coke there. And he was like, why would I want flat Coke? And I'm like, bro, never turn down the flat Coke.
I want that on every run course now. And anyway.
Oh, you'd want the sugar-free stuff, though, wouldn't you?
No, give me the sugar. Bloody run 42 kilometres. I deserve it. No, so it was really, I was so precise back then. You know, there was always this mantra of if you haven't trialled it, don't have it.
Yes.
And I said to Al, I haven't trialled it, so I shouldn't have it. And he said, bloody well have it, Rach, like you need it. And he's, you know, bossed me into taking it. So I drank it and I did my fastest ever part of the marathon after I had that Coke. I just literally flew through it.
How long did it take to hit the bloodstream? What do you reckon? Like immediately?
Not long.
Wow.
There's some awesome research around it. So you shouldn't have the caffeine too early. You should have it in the last part of that race, and then it's like rocket fuel. It's great.
Oh, it really is. The thing you said before about not trying something new for the first time on race day, that's they talk about that with gels because you have these energy gels, which are the most disgusting things available. Hey, they're awful. Never found one that I liked.
Until they offered to sponsor this podcast, Dom?
Yeah. I will lie. Hawley's lemon lime gels. They are delicious.
So good.
Sometimes in the evening I'll just have it for a snack in front of the TV. No, they're awful, but they're very effective. But a mate of mine, Matt Heath, who does the Breakfast on Radio Hauraki, he did the half marathon in Queenstown a few years ago. And a friend of his, Scotty, was running it as well. And he said to Matt, have you got any nutrition or anything? And Matt was like, I don't know. What do you mean? He goes, have some gels. So he handed Matt a couple of gels and Matt was like, oh, okay. So he just ripped them open and had them there at the start line without any water or anything. And he goes, it was disgusting. I'm like, you're not supposed to have it like then and there. And you shouldn't have them if you haven't had them in training either.
That's why it's good to get a qualified coach because you learn how to fuel, when to fuel, how much to fuel, how to work it, and how to rig it so it enhances your performance. Yeah, because that's a bit of a rookie mistake.
Yeah. The other thing you were talking about the rookie mistake about going out too fast, that is so hard to get that right.
Yeah.
So hard because if you've trained to run 42K, you're at the start line, there's other people around, the adrenaline's pumping as well. You're going to be feeling good. It's really hard to run within yourself when you're feeling that good.
You're swept away by the excitement of the crowd, and it's it is so exciting. I love, that start of the race, but you really got to look at your watch and what pace you're running. Because
slow it down.
You're just trying to keep up with the person next to you, and they're way fitter and faster. They may not look it, but they are.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Is your first one your most memorable? Like when you that feeling that you get at the finish line was
it's
the first
most
one
memorable
the best one?
for fuck ups.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What not to do. So
No,
I've never hit the wall like that.
Right. But
again.
But the incredible. Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because I hit the wall so bad. I'd gone so fast so soon that I ran out of juice. So how you're supposed to run a marathon is, so you're faster at the end of the race. So you got, supposed to pace it well. So you've got more, when you've got near the end, you can kick it up a gear. You can go as fast as you want in those end kilometres. But if you've used it up early on, you can't get it back. So yeah, there's some science around it. It's so interesting. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a triathlete I really like, and he uses the analogy. He says it's like matches in the box, and you've only got so many matches you can burn, and once all the matches are gone, they're gone. Yeah. So you want to go out, you go out gently. But it's also worth noting, like I think in those last sort of 7 to 12 Ks of a marathon, like from Ks 30 to the finish, everyone's in a shitstorm.
Yeah, everyone's in a hurt locker. and like I've interviewed heaps and heaps of elite athletes, and they're like, right, we're hurting as much as you are. You're just not going as fast.
It's true.
Which is true. We're all hurting. We're all hating it. But it's mindset stuff at that point. And that's where you learn this amazing thing. You learn this, incredible life tool, like not to give up, to keep going, even though it hurts and it's really hard, that you can do this. And in fact, you can do anything you want in life. If you just hold on, you stick with it, you keep going. I've run 25 now, which is crazy. I wouldn't probably recommend that to everyone.
over how many years? Like 10 years or something?
Yeah.
Right. They do just add up though, don't they?
They do.
Is Auckland the biggest one in New Zealand, or Rotorua? What would be the biggest?
Yeah, so Auckland would be biggest in terms of numbers. Rotorua is the most iconic marathon in New Zealand, special because you lap the lake, but also it's been going way longer.
Yeah.
And it's got what they call the Survivors Club. So it means you've got to run 15 Rotorua marathons to join that club. And it's amazing, like on race day, Dom, the Survivors...
What do you get for being in the Survivors Club?
I don't know, a T-shirt or something. Bragging rights, mate. Bragging rights. If you're in that club, man, you're pretty special. And like
15 years, though. If it's just a T-shirt, make it 5.
I know.
Are you done with marathons, or you still got more in you?
I feel like a bit of a retired horse at the moment.
Yeah, why's that?
Well, COVID has ruined it a bit. Look, I'll do a distance. Like, I love the marathon events. So I'm at Rotorua Marathon event every year. And mostly these days I'll do the half or the 10K. And it's really joyful. And I love sharing that with, like, one of my sons, Lockie.
Yeah.
It's good
That's
fun.
good. I get terrible event anxiety. It's terrible, and it makes no sense because I'm never gonna win. So I'm racing myself really. But there was an event last year, the Whiringa Half Marathon, and I turned up and I was so nervous. I sat in the car and I almost contemplated just driving away and just saying, I woke up, I didn't feel good, and I didn't feel like running today.
That's amazing. I really like that you share that. I really like that you share that. But yeah, we all kind of feel nervous, and it's good. It means that you care about the results. You care about doing well. Like, it's actually a really good thing. It's like if you're speaking on a stage, it's really helpful to feel nervous because it means that you really care about doing a good job.
That's good to hear, because that event in particular it ended up being quite a good run. I remember the time because it was a very strange number. It was an hour 23:45, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which for me was a bloody quick half marathon.
That is so great.
And I was ecstatic afterwards because you got the endorphins flowing from the run, and also the run went well. So like driving home back to Auckland from Whiringa, I'm like, what the fuck was that all about? Like thinking about pulling out before starting. It's just a really weird feeling. But then you speak to some proper elite athletes, and they talk about being like excited the night before or the morning of. So I'm just wondering if they sort of have the same energy, but they frame it differently.
Yeah, they're nervous too. They're so nervous, and a lot more rides on it, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah. I'm only ever running for myself.
Well, look, I'm at the back of the pack and I get nervous. I mean, come on. I've got all the medals for the marathons. There's so many of them now. And then there's like the 10Ks and the half ones. And it's just like, where do I put all this junk? But I'll keep the marathon medals because some of them are pretty special.
Yeah,
like the
of
new
course.
ones and stuff. They're big and beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. My mum said to me, she was like updating her will a couple of years ago. She said, you're the runner of the family. I'm gonna leave my medals to you. And I'm like, what the fuck do I want with them? I've got my own medals. Like, they're junk, aren't they? Really? Like
Did you buy a Marie Kondo book for Christmas?
Yeah. Mum, your medals don't spark joy.
Actually, your mum is so inspiring. Like, your mum is where it's all at. She's so inspiring. She can run, and you know what? She's my goals. I want to be running when I'm her age. And look, I bet you she is, way cooler than a lot of women that age, because she'll be super onto it. She looks amazing. Running actually keeps you a little bit youthful. It's a good way to shake some stress. And
she's 70 now, and she runs most days. She's not training for a marathon at the moment because she's not sure when the next event will be. Yeah, I mean, she does great. Oh, there was an she ran the New York Marathon a couple of years ago, and it was the same year that Art Green from The Bachelor ran the New York Marathon. I think he had some injury. He didn't run that great, but he's a big, heavy, muscly dude. So she beat Art Green.
Oh, that was awesome. Total bragging rights.
Yeah. But then 4 months later, 5 months later, the week after the Christchurch mosque shooting, I took Mum to the mosque in Ponsonby in Auckland, where there was like a minute silent thing. And Art and Matilda were there. Mum was like, I'm going to go and say hi. And
she bragged to him? Did she rub it in?
She went up to him. So he was there just to pay his respects like everyone else was. And she goes, I beat you in the New York Marathon. I was mortified.
Art would have just giggled. He's actually a really cool dude. Yeah. He would have gone respect.
Yeah, but just time and place, Mum. Time and place. Yeah. I'll give you his number. You can text him, but don't do it outside a mosque the week after this mass shooting. Unbelievable.
She's a little bit cheeky. I wonder where you get that from.
Oh, come on. No, she's fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if she outlives me. She's great.
Yeah.
I bought her an apartment, and the idea was that it was going to be like part of my retirement plan. Like, she'll die and then I can sell it or whatever. But like, she's 70 now and I'm 48, and I'm starting to do the sums, and it's like she's probably going to be around like another 20 years. So she'll be 90 and I'll be like 68. I'm going to be like, come on, Mum, you gotta die. I need the money.
You don't need the money.
How's your mental health been? Your mental health been good? You ever had any issues with that?
No, thankfully. Everyone gets those low days. But I've lost friends through suicide. And look, 1 in 4 Kiwis suffers from depression at a really, really high level. And our suicide rate is really high. Anxiety levels are really escalating. They're getting worse and worse, and kids are getting this a lot.
Why are they getting it? Do you think it's like a COVID thing, the stress of the last couple of years, or just other
earthquakes, COVID, but also the
social
stress
media,
of
maybe.
Social media, stress of life, and so much pressure. Schooling's a bit different today than it used to be in our day. It's a bit more relaxed. So we've got all these mental health issues escalating. And look, one way to manage that is just to move your body. And like if you live in Japan, like doctors will prescribe, go surfing. Was it Japan or Hawaii? Like that is one antidote. And if you go to the GP and you say, hey, I'm feeling low, they'll actually say, well, you could start with doing some fitness. So you get, so the runner's high is actually science-backed. And so it's an actual thing. And there's also another psychology concept called flow that helps to uplift your happiness levels. So what flow is it's a state that you enter into. So you can do it. You can find flow through music or art or physical activity. So many different ways to access it. How you know you're in flow is, so take my running example. When I first started, I hated it. It was really, really hard. So I wasn't in flow. I didn't have much of a skill set. Wasn't very good at running. Found it really hard. But fast forward to 6 months down the track, and I could run really freely, easily. I could chat while I was running, and you get lost in the moment. You've got a high skill set, and you kind of, that whole getting lost in the moment is the key. And that is flow. It's a psychological state that you can enter into, and that's what makes you happy. So going out for a run definitely uplifts your happiness levels. So it's a way to keep your mental health baseline. So when I share this with clients, most important thing to me about being fit is that I've inspired my kids to run too and be fit, and that their barometer of fitness is quite high. So why that matters so much to me is that I want their mental health to be okay. I just want them to be happy.
Just thinking out loud here, do we place too much emphasis on being happy? Because I feel like you need some unhappiness or some misery in your life to appreciate the happy moments. Do you,
totally.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like it's impossible to be happy all the time.
Look, only your dog is happy all the time.
Oh, he's not. He's miserable. I haven't thrown his little giraffe for the last half hour. He's sulking under the table. Yeah. It's a funny thing, the quest for happiness.
That's a normal human state. Like there'd be something wrong with you if you're happy all the time.
Yeah.
It's normal to have those dips, and they give you that huge appreciation for the highs, right? Yeah, you wouldn't be human if you didn't have those lows.
Yeah.
It's just managing those lows and
Yeah.
those dips, and they can deep dive, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think running for me personally has I don't know any science or anything like that. All I know is what's worked for me, and exercise is definitely like a tool in the toolkit for me. It's something that makes me feel better. But having lived with someone with depression, my ex-wife JJ, I don't know. I feel like it's more of a chemical imbalance in her brain. And I'd say to her, I was an ass of a husband as well. I'd say, come on, get up. We'll get out. We'll get some fresh air. You'll feel better. And it turns out that's not the thing to say to people with depression.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
I
learned
agree.
more about it since then. Like it came from a good place, but it was the wrong way to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When you are in that high end, the best thing you can possibly do is go and see a doctor, and they can advise whether you should be on medication, and that's exactly what you should be doing. People go through a lot of wanting, wishing and dreaming for sometimes forever, and they never make the jump. They go, I wish I could be fitter, I wish I could be, stronger or whatever.
I just never hit the go button.
Yeah,
on
they
it.
never hit it. So the hardest part, Dom, about starting a run journey is actually just jumping. Just start. The beauty and the magic is in just starting. And there's these circles. So you start a habit, and then it takes a little while to become a behaviour. So the really hard part is starting that habit, and then it circles into a behaviour after a certain period of time.
What is it, like a month, 5 weeks? What is it?
Yeah,
is it a number of days?
No, well, it's different for different people, depending on how often you do it and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was maybe 6 weeks until it became a bit of a behaviour. Started it as a habit, became a behaviour. Now running for you and I is what you call lifestyle. We just do it without thinking. We just
if I've got an injury, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now?
Yeah, I'm grumpy without it, eh? Yeah.
So am I. If I've got a couple of days without it, people around me definitely start to notice.
Hey, but an injury can be actually a really positive thing. So for my 40th birthday, I had entered into the Chicago Marathon. I was a bit of a dumbass, and I ran 3 marathons in quick succession. I was about 32 kilometres in. I was running Christchurch with Mike McRoberts, and my leg went.
Is that because a lot of women go weak at the knees in front of McRoberts? Is that? Was he shirtless?
Nah, we're just mates. We were just chatting. So, yeah, I got injured in the Christchurch Marathon, but I'd already entered the Chicago Marathon. And
you're not cancelling a trip to Chi-Town, are
nah, and it was 3 months away.
Yeah.
So I'd booked it, I'd paid for it. There was no way out. And I was like, because if I hadn't done that, I would have just sat on the couch and felt miserable and woe is me, ate the chips. But because I had paid for it, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So it ended up being the most incredible thing that could have ever happened to me. I hated it at the time, found it really hard, but I cross-trained. So I went to the gym, I did a pool run a week, I did strength training, bit of yoga, and a lot of cycling on a static bike in a gym. So those were things I could do. And you know what? I learnt you don't have to run and run and run and run to run a marathon. Cross-train. It's so much more fun. And, yeah, I've trained that way ever since. I don't do the long runs anymore, Dom. I cross-train.
You probably still had the muscle memory maybe. And or was it just like no expectation on yourself in Chicago, so you got to enjoy it more? Was that part of it?
Yeah, I didn't wear a watch because I thought, oh, my God, if I finish this, I'll just be elated if I get to the finish line. But you know what? I ran it 12 minutes slower than my fastest ever marathon time.
That's not bad.
And I all I did was cross train.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still getting that cardio aerobic activity on a bike. So when people feel like an injury coming on, so I've worked with a lot of athletes with disabilities, and when they're feeling a niggle, I'll really rein them in and pull them back, and I'll get them pull running or get them cycling, because I'm going, what's
Aquajogging, boring. God, that's the worst.
It's hard. If you're doing it properly, it's 3 times harder than running on land.
Yeah.
So you actually become, you can work on your form, you get a better run gait, you can get faster. Honestly, it's 3 times harder than running on land. So when you come out of the pool, you fly.
No, if it was that good, Elliot Kipchoge would be doing it. All the Kenyans would be in the pool.
Oh, if they get a niggle, like you look at like the All Blacks and all these elite athletes, when they start to get niggles or injuries, they're like in the water, or they're put in the water before then, because they're going to get that active recovery.
Yeah, for sure.
So smart way to train.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, no, that's true. That is true. It's, I've become better at that over the years. Like just before Christmas, I had 10 days in an MIQ spot, and the old me would be like, "Oh, I need to get a treadmill in the room. I'm going to lose so much fitness." And now it's like, well, you control what you can and try not to worry about the external stuff. So if I get an injury now, I sort of think, well, it's my body telling me that maybe I need a little break, and I enjoy it, because you realise it's not nice to get unfit and to try and start again from ground zero, but you realise, a couple of weeks off, you're not going to lose everything.
I think it's about 6 weeks and you'll lose your run fitness.
6 weeks? That's a long time. Hey, it's a very long time. That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah. So, but you want to keep it going. Like if you can do something, jump on a bike or whatever. But if it's just a week or two, and like the physio says, just take it easy, it's probably actually good for you to just have a bit of a break, bit of a taper.
I mean, it's been running for you and me, but I bang on about running, and you do as well to a degree. But I say to people, it's about movement and fresh air. So whatever it is, like for me, it's running. You find your own thing. Maybe for you, it's not running.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, just get out there, because you do feel so much better after doing something.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you feel good. Affects your telomere length. So that's in my book.
Excuse me? That sounds rude.
So telomere length is, so this helps you to look youthful. So running helps you manage stress. So these are at the end of your chromosomes, the telomeres. And so if you've got long telomeres, you're looking really youthful and gorgeous, and you're healthy and not that stressed. If you've got short telomeres, you're growing, you're looking older beyond your years. You've probably got a really shit diet, probably stressed out to buggery, and you're probably not moving your body. So, move because you want to look more youthful, and you want to be more joyful. You're nicer to be around.
Yeah. Now, you and I have got something else in common. We're similar sort of ages. I'm a little bit older than you, but we've got something in common that happened to us at similar times. I don't know if you want to get into this much or not, but we both went through marriage breakups, which people say is one of the 5 most stressful things a human being can go through. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm in an awesome place now.
Did your book and knowledge help navigate through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, it was for many years.
How long were you married?
I think it was about 15 years.
Do you consider that a success?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And same with you and JJ. We're really good friends. We're amazing friends, and we've got boys, and we've got this great team effort in raising the kids, and we actually get on really, really well. We're still best friends. But, at a certain point we became really different people. He's an introvert, I'm an extrovert. I want to be life on the run, where's the next adventure? And, we just became 2 really different people, and with, really different needs. And so conscious
conscious and coupling.
Oh my God, I hate that term because Gwyneth Paltrow uses it, but it is kind of a thing. It's kind of true. So we've got this cool respect for each other, like you and JJ.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's like, I didn't marry an arsehole. Like, JJ is epic. She is an awesome woman. You married an amazing woman.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just came to that time in your life where you became different and, you know, you're ready for that new path. And, yeah, there was a really stressful time. It was actually when I was writing the book, really hard time in the marriage. And I kind of fell down on my knees. Like, it was so hard. I was so low. And, I kind of walked away from my book for 6 months, Dom, and I was supposed to have it. I had a book contract to have it done within a year. It took me 2 years because I needed to pick myself up from the floor and actually believe in myself again. And, imposter syndrome was a bit of a thing, but I was just...
Oh my God, you as well. I talked about that on the podcast the other week. I've had so many people saying, oh my God, I have that as well.
Yeah, which is dumb. If I go through a hard period, I have learned how to pick myself off the floor. I've learned to reach out to people who care about me and love me and who will help me stand back up again. And yeah, that's good. That's good.
I know there'll be some people listening to this that have gone through marriage breakups, and this conversation with Rach and myself might sound nauseating because I understand that for whatever reason, you know, sometimes it's not possible to end up being friends with your ex, and maybe they don't deserve your friendship at the end of it. But if it is possible, like the way me and JJ sort of see it is, you wanted to not throw out the baby with the bathwater. You want to keep the good things about the relationship, and there's still so much love there. It's one of the few things that I won't really. Don't make too many jokes about because there's just so much respect still there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've totally got her back.
Absolutely. Yeah. And same. And, you know, that's so healthy. And, you know, when I see all these, I'm on the dating scene at the moment, which is quite hilarious. You're like,
if anyone's listening that likes the sound of you, what are you on? Are you on Bumble? Are you on Tinder? What are you? Where can they find you?
No.
Plenty of fish?
No, you're not saying. But, you know, you meet these people and they've got these toxic exes and it's just, oh my God, that's frightening. Like, what they've got to wade through. Like, they're just, you know, they're living a really stressful life because one of them just can't let go.
Do you think you would have drifted apart anyway, or do you think part of it is like that, your editor giving you that assignment all those years ago where you went on this like wellness journey? Like, do you think that sort of changed the trajectory of your life, or do you think you would have ended up here anyway?
I think we would have ended up here anyway. I mean, I probably became quite annoying because I was living a life on the run. You know, I became this running addict, which is... actually, we swapped roles. When I met him, he would run and he was really, really fit and I was really unfit. And then we completely swapped. He stopped all exercise and fitness and, you know, got quite low. And I became this, like, like someone I never thought I'd be.
Someone that's preaching the lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's interesting. But I suppose, everyone changes, don't they? And I suppose some marriages you just make it work and you deal with people's changes and idiosyncrasies. But for others, it's like the sensible or the right thing to do just to go your separate ways.
Yeah, nothing's lost. Like, he's an amazing dad. You know, I wouldn't change any decision there, and I don't think he would. But yeah, you just, you know, it happens. Life happens. And you know what? I'm really proud of that decision, Dom, because we are both really happy now. We're great friends. And what I see around me is a lot of people staying in miserable relationships just because they think society, they're trying to please society. And I think that's sad. So they're living in misery. And they're bitching about their partners or they're doing things they don't want to do. Life is annoying and they're grumpy all the time and they're bitching about it and they're just doing nothing about it. And, you know, like advice I'd give to people is if you're with someone and, you know, life is hard, you don't really have much respect for them, it's not joyful, you either commit to changing together to work on that shit, or you move separate ways, like you change or you accept and then find some damn joy. Don't stop the bitching.
Yeah. Oh no, that's good. That's good advice. That's good advice. My parents, they hated each other. And yes,
How could anyone hate your mum?
No,
She's a darling.
well, you should be like Dad. Dad would go to the fridge, grab another beer. She'd be like, "Oh, you're having another one tonight, are you, Stuart?" And there was always this tension in the house that you could cut with a knife.
Yeah.
And they'd argue and stuff. And I'd grow up in this household, and I think that's sort of normal. And thankfully, me and JJ, we never had like an argumentative relationship or anything.
Nice.
But maybe we needed a little bit more of that. Right? Maybe that was part of my fault, not communicating enough.
There's no people at war here,
Yeah.
so there's no chaos to kind of navigate.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. They must love it too. So when they're with you, they've got healthy snacks. When they're with him, they're going to McDonald's and Cape Ride. Is that how it is?
Oh, it is quite funny. Like my kids, I buy all that. I buy Up and Goes and chips and chocolate. I buy all that stuff.
Right.
Like my kids are really, really active, and so like I'm actually trying to get calories in them all the time. I know you probably think, oh, they just exist on blueberry smoothies. poor buggers.
Yeah.
Probably desperate to go to their mate's house.
And baking with honey instead of actual sugar.
Oh yeah, I do that. But
Oh God.
maple syrup.
You're a cliche.
Raw slices. Yum,
Right.
yum.
Well, that's something to be proud of, I suppose, for you and your ex, to look at the kids and say, we've done good.
Yeah.
We've done good.
That's everything. Like their happiness.
Hey, we'll end with some quick-fire run questions, okay? And then I'll let you go. I'll let you go. You must have some dates lined up to go to this evening.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Rachel Grunwell, what do you listen to when you run? Are you? I mean, if you don't listen to anything, that's fine. There's a lot of people that prefer to run just in their own
love
headspace.
like pop songs,
Right.
like Pink,
Okay,
yeah,
just music.
Yeah,
Yep.
just
Okay.
like pop stuff. Love it.
What's your favourite place to run? Did you have a favourite route? Or was it like a trail or town or a block nearby your house?
Yeah, so I live in Mount Eden in Auckland, and going up that peak, I do like hill repeats. So I'll go up and down Mount Eden, like up and down, up and down, up and down. And it is the most, like every time you get to that peak, you look over Auckland and, you see the water, and it's magical. It's so uplifting. It's so beautiful. I've done it a million times, and it is just, it's heaven. It's just the most beautiful sight every time. I never get sick of it. I always feel so grateful, A, that I can run, and B, that I can experience that.
Yeah, it's a great spot up there. The volcanic cone as well, and the city in the background. It's just beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and it's on my doorstep. Got a volcano on my doorstep. Great.
That doesn't sound like a good selling point. Do you have a favourite shoe or like a shoe brand that you're like, that's it, I can't change, I'm going to jinx it?
Louboutin and Jimmy Choo.
Oh
High heels, baby. High heels. Not when I'm running.
To run in. Favourite running shoe. Come on, it's a running podcast. Focus.
Okay. Damn it. Essex are amazing run shoe. Yeah, there's a lot of brands. I'm so lucky. Like as a wellness writer for 10 years, I've been sponsored by every name under the sun, and there are different shoes that I'll use for different sports. And I'm really I know the best tights to wear for running. I know the best brands to wear for running long distance. Or shorter distance. But yeah, something like a good pair of Essex are amazing for the long runs.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, you get different shoes for if you're doing speed training. My advice is to have a couple of pairs of shoes. So if you're quite serious about it, one's for speed, one for the long runs, and then one to change out. And don't use your walk shoes for your runs.
Right. I used to be anal and superstitious about my shoes. I got given a pair of Adidas shoes, and I had a good marathon in them, and I went for a couple of years without being injured, and then I kept buying the same shoe. It was called a Supernova or something. I kept buying the same shoe over and over again, and then they stopped making it, and I had like a panic attack. It's like, what am I going to do now? And I looked online, and I went to some online shoe stores like in Dunedin and in Invercargill to see if they had stock that I could buy, and then since then I've run in anything and everything, and I realised it's nothing to do with the shoe.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's good to get one that fits you, fits how you run.
Yeah.
And like some people need a bit more support, other people bear running. But
Right.
getting your gait looked at and your run shoes sorted is super smart.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
updating them every so often.
It's the only expense you have with the sport.
Yeah.
The only expense.
Yeah,
it's
and
worth
looking
investing.
Looking at your run gait's really cool. It's so I learnt I wasn't using my big toe, so I was missing part of the push off. So I was like rolling.
Very important to use the big toe.
Yeah, I know. Like, so I just wasn't using my full toolkit, right? Yeah. And back to the shoes, I've got so many pairs, and my bedroom, I've got like a wall of shoes
Like running shoes, or are we talking back to dress ones
both.
now? Both one.
Yeah.
Well, is
it Melda Marcos? Or
Right,
like
right.
I'm here.
Well, if you're looking for a charity, and this goes to any runners that are listening that have got like a laundry full of, or a front doorstep or whatever full of old shoes, look up the charity Lazy Sneakers. They do a really good job.
Oh, cool.
If you're looking
I'll
for
send
something to do with you only need so many pairs of shoes to mow the lawns, and don't you? Yeah, Lazy Sneakers. Look them up. Do you prefer to run alone or with a crew?
I love to talk. Like, come on. Like, you just can't shut me up.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm running, like, I love to run. I've got a bestie, Gil, he's a dentist, and we normally run every week in Green Lane around that peak. And, yeah, like, a part of it is that social connection. Like, it just lifts me up, helps me to keep going. It's called the group effect. So, if you don't feel like getting out of bed and doing that run, if someone's waiting for you when the alarm goes, like, you're just going to turn up. So it's really good. Like, if you...
That's true. It keeps you accountable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I imagine you're a lone runner, Dom. No one else could keep up with you.
Oh, no, I do a lot of running on my own, but I love the community as well. Like, it's a fantastic community, so I do like running with others. But I find someone's always uncomfortable. Someone's running slower than what they want. Someone's running faster than what they want.
There's actually a talent in being able to manage both.
Yeah,
So a lot of people So I guide athletes with disabilities, and a lot of people can't do it because they've got to change their gait or they've got to change their pace. So it's a bit of a superpower being able to run different paces. Obviously not faster than capable of, but I can go slower because a lot of people do actually get injured.
Do you prefer running in the hot or the cold?
Oh, cold.
Yeah, winter
Definitely,
runs.
yes. I can run faster, stronger. I hate running in the heat. Like, get me really early run, I'm so happy. But like a run later in the day, I'm like miserable.
And you've run 25 marathons. What's your go-to meal the night before? What's the one thing that you settled on?
Just eating normally, like protein, some carbs, some veg.
Like what would it look like?
Normally.
What would it look like on your plate?
Like
some potatoes, pasta, or what?
Nah, carb fueling's kind of old school. So just like a steak and some salad, maybe some kumara. But I'd have fish and chips the night before. I'd have pizza. Yeah.
Just get those calories in.
Yeah, just whatever you normally eat. Yeah, get some calories in. I'll eat some porridge normally before a race.
Is that your phone? Is that the alarm? That's all right. Bring it over. Is it a ringtone or an alarm tone?
Turn it off. Sorry, mate.
No, that's all good. Well, that's probably a good place to end it. Where do you have to be? Is it a date? Is it an online date?
No, it's dropping my son off at work.
Oh, shit. Oh, so
I'm an Uber driver.
Oh, yeah.
Uber rage.
How old's your son?
Oh, he's coming up 17.
Can't he get a bloody license? Tell him to get his license.
He's got his license.
Oh, why do you need to drop him off?
He's got to get his own car.
Right.
But
right.
He's one of these, he's a vegetarian. He's like, nah, Mum, the environment doesn't need another car on the road.
Oh, my God, that is such an Auckland kid.
I know, right?
Oh, no, you've raised them well. Hey, Rachel Grunwell, author of the book Balance, Food, Health and Happiness, and runner of 25 marathons and heaps of other stuff. Thank you so much for sitting down today.
Nice to chat,
Really
Dom.
appreciate it.
Thanks for the laughs.
Oh, you're still here. Thank you very much for making it to the end of the entire episode of Runners Only with Dom Harvey and my guest, Rachel Grunwell. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for being here, and hopefully we'll see you back next week on Runners Only with Dom Harvey. Bye.